Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's video. We're going to be talking about the stock to flow model and how Bitcoin's price action fits in the context of this model. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future and let's dive right in. So this brown line here that's just traveling across Bitcoin's price action, which is in varying degrees of colors, we see this line that is the stock to flow line. It's denoting to us what the price of Bitcoin should be at any given time according to the metric that is the stock to flow. And sometimes we see upside deviations below this line, and sometimes we see downside deviations below this line. And very simplistically speaking, we tend to see bull market peaks once we see those tremendous upside deviations, and we tend to see bear market bottoms once we see those downside deviations below the line. So that's an interesting observation because this way we can actually time bull market peaks and time bear market bottoms, though not with actual picture perfect accuracy, but it's still nonetheless a good method to try and understand where those periods of maximum financial risk are and where those periods of maximum financial opportunities are. And one of the things to mention here is that we tend to see an ascending stock to flow line sometimes, as you can see here, especially here, and sometimes we see a flattening out stock to flow line. And of course, this is going to be heavily influenced by the Bitcoin halving events, where this stock to flow line will simply change after the halving events, and then it will start to stagnate a bit after those halving events occur. So for instance, in 2020, May, you saw an ascending stock to flow line because of course, after the halving, that stock to flow is going to be changing. And then at some point in the future, and that future essentially is going to last for a few years when it comes to the stock to flow line, we're going to see the stagnating stock to flow line. So Bitcoin is currently below the stock to flow line, but it's easier for Bitcoin to outpace a flat stock to flow line rather than try to keep up and outpace an ascending stock to flow line, right? Even though Bitcoin did a fantastic job of trying to outpace the stock to flow line, really. And historically, you never actually really see stock to flow, or at least Bitcoin's price action, outpace or even just perfectly follow the line. Because usually, if you just look at the recent history briefly, we never really see Bitcoin's price action tracing the brown stock to flow line. We always see downside deviations or upside deviations, never actually perfect following, like we saw in this portion of the cycle. So you can just see how strong Bitcoin's rally was, really. Bitcoin's price action was really able to just keep pace with a really ascending stock to flow line, and that's pretty impressive in of itself. But now we're going to see a stagnating stock to flow line, and this stock to flow line is suggesting to us that at this point in time, Bitcoin's price action should be at around $81,000. And it's essentially suggesting to us that it should be at $81,000 for the next few years to 2024. Now, if we just look at the brief history, or at least the more than brief history of what we've seen in the past when it comes to deviations, downside or upside, in the context of the stock to flow line, we're probably going to see an upside deviation beyond $80,000 at some point in the future, because that's what has to happen for bull market peaks to occur. And that's been the case in the past. So Bitcoin's price action is currently at 47, roughly speaking. And whether or not we dip in the short term, that doesn't really matter if we just consider these higher time frame, larger moves. This macro context is pretty clear that we are going to be moving up towards this region and, of course, eclipsing that region as well. But not only eclipsing it, really deviating beyond it quite substantially. Now, it's anyone's guess how much of a deviation that's going to be, but that's some of the things that we should be paying attention to in the coming months for Bitcoin. So if we see a dip now, we'll probably form some sort of higher low, and then we'll be able to eclipse those old all-time highs of 65k at some point in the future, and then that's going to give us a quick ascent to this 80k region. And then that's when we're going to be breaching that level and reaching ever new all-time highs and enjoying that price discovery to new all-time highs, just to end that bull market and begin that bear market correction. So in any case, guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's video update. I hope you enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you did, and of course subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.